All right, so you want to lose belly fat fast. Well, in this video, I'm going to give you my top 5 tips on how you can lose belly fat and transform your body as quickly as possible. And number 5 is really going to blow your mind because I don't care how many videos you've seen on this topic, I don't care how many gurus, doctors, whatever talk to you about losing weight, about burning belly fat, I guarantee you no one is going to share this tip with you that I'm going to give you at the end. So stay tuned for that. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Jose Gonzalez. I am the Keto Master Chef. I've been a professional chef for over 25 years. I struggled with health and weight most of my life. But since adopting a ketogenic lifestyle, I managed to lose 100 pounds in 5 months. I've helped hundreds of people lose thousands of pounds, as well as reverse inflammatory diseases like diabetes, hypertension, arthritis, etc. So let's get right into it. But before I give you these 5 tips, I have to lay the foundation. You see, because oftentimes we look at our situation and we look at certain things and we think that thing in our situation, in this case being belly fat, we think that is the problem, right? So if you're here and you're watching this video, you want to burn belly fat, you want to reduce your belly, I get it, right? And so you probably think that belly fat is your problem. Well, the belly fat is not your problem. The belly fat is a symptom of your problem, okay? And unless you understand the problem, you're going to struggle to make this a long-term solution, because almost anything, many kinds of diets, many times when you just change your diet, change your eating protocol, change your sleeping habits, change the volume of exercise that you do, you can get some results. However, unless you do understand what your problem is and you tackle that, you're not going to have long-term sustained results. And I presume that even though you may want to lose the belly fat fast, you're hoping not to gain it back. So but I want you to understand what the problem really is. Okay, the problem is not belly fat, although that's the symptom of the problem. That's what you're trying to tackle. The real problem that people that have belly fat, well, they have fatty liver, and that's why they have belly fat. But the real problem is a sugar addiction. Okay, we never think about the fact that food is drugs. Okay, our food is drugs. That's why it's governed by the Food and Drug Administration, right? Because a drug is any substance that can alter your mood or behavior. I don't know if you've ever been hungry or hangry and you have some food, right? It alters your mood. Okay, being hungry, the lack of food alters your mood, and then eating, having food alters your mood. So it's technically a drug. And so the main cause of obesity, diabetes, hypertension, strokes, on and on, all these inflammatory diseases that are so prevalent and rampant in our society is actually a sugar addiction. So I'm not saying that to guilt you, shame you. It's just that if you fail to understand what your problem is, then you're going to fail to be able to sustain what I'm telling you long term. All right. When we think about addiction, usually we think about gambling or alcohol or illicit drugs, right? And there's other addictions that people have. But if you're familiar with anyone that's ever dealt with an addiction, then we know that the first step in overcoming that addiction is just simply admitting that there's a problem, right? That there's a situation that you have to confront. And so I want to start off with that because unless you have the mindset and understanding of what the true cause of your belly fat is, you're going to struggle to make your results long term. All right. So, with that, we've established that the problem is sugar addiction. And so, let's talk about these tips. It's a fly here. Let's talk about these tips on how to burn belly fat fast. All right, let's get into it. So, the first tip is intermittent fasting. What is intermittent fasting? Intermittent fasting is when you restrict the amount of hours in a day in which you're consuming calories and meals. All right. So basically, what that means is that you're going to restrict your eating window to 6 to 8 hours a day. So if you sleep 8 hours, that means that maybe you push back your first meal from the time you wake up by 4 hours, and then your last meal is going to be 4 hours before your bedtime. And this is going to give you 18 hours, right? And if you can do 16, it's even better. All right. I mean, I'm sorry, the other way around. It's going to give you 16 hours where you're fasting, where you're not consuming any calories. Of course, you can have non-sugary, non-caloric beverages, water, not unsweetened tea, unsweetened coffee, anything that doesn't have calories. But you're gonna stay away from anything that has calories. This includes snacks, nuts, even things that are, you know, within a healthy eating protocol. And what this allows your body to do is it allows it, when you're fasting, you're actually healing. You're using stored up energy, you're repairing cells, and you're allowing your body to heal from the food that you've been digested, or whatever type of, cellular damage is going on in your body. And if you have belly fat, you have fatty liver, you have free radicals, you have cellular inflammation. So fasting allows you to heal, okay, and start to get rid of that belly fat fast. Now, at the very least, you're gonna want to do a 16-hour fast, right? Which means that your first, whatever time your first meal is at, your last meal is no more than 8 hours after that. And if over time you can get this to be even a smaller window where you're consuming all of your meals in a 6 hour span and a 4 hour span. Sometimes my wife and I, we do what's called OMAD, one meal a day. We don't do that every day, but some days we're just not that hungry and we just have one meal. So, intermittent fasting, first tip. Tip number two, and this is actually going to help you with tip number one of intermittent fasting, is eat more fat with every meal. Now, you might think, well, hold up. If what I'm trying to do is get rid of fat, why would I eat more fat? Well, you know, in keto, we consume low carbs because carbs increase insulin, they spike your blood sugar levels, they make you hungry all the time, they suppress leptin in your brain, which lets you know that you're full, right? So reducing carbs is part of it, but also eating more fat in every meal is important because you want to transition your body from running off of glucose or sugar to running off of fat or ketones. This is going to suppress your appetite and keep you fuller longer. So a lot of times when I start my clients off, with their meals, I check in with them. How's it going? How you feeling? They say, yeah, I feel good. I definitely felt full, but I was hungry before my next meal. And so what can I snack on, right? And so when I start people off in my program, in the very beginning, they do have some snack options, but the goal is really not to snack, okay? And so what I say to them is, which that's great, all right? This happens. These are the appropriate snacks that you can have, but your real goal is to add more fat to that meal so you can stay fuller for longer. Okay, so this is how you keep that eating window down, because you have one meal, you're fuller for longer. By the next time you have that second meal, usually you're probably good for the entire day. Okay, now, so get more fat. And I'm talking about healthy fats, right? Not all fats are created equal. So you want to stay away from uh, you know, um, processed, oils, seed oils like canola oil, corn oil, vegetable oil, soybean oil, peanut oil, grapeseed oil, regular plain olive oil, light olive oil. All of these oils are completely unhealthy. They will inflame your gut and make it difficult to impossible for you to lose that belly fat. Now, tip number three, and this is kind of like there's a lot to it. I'm going to pack a lot into it, but tip number three is you want to eliminate processed foods. Okay, what does that mean? It means you want to stick to one ingredient foods. You want to stay away from things that come in a bag, a box, or a can, okay, that have a whole bunch of ingredients, because food companies are very creative in how they process their food, package their food, label their food. They're in the business of making money. They're not in the business of making you healthy. So you absolutely want to stay away from processed foods, right? You want to stick to one ingredient food. So when you go shopping, all you got to do is shop around the perimeter of the aisle. The only reason you should be going down, up and down the aisles is to get some healthy fats, right? Some avocado oil, some extra virgin olive oil, or perhaps some spices. But other than that, everything that you're going to need in terms of food is going to be found on the perimeter of the supermarket. Your whole foods, broccoli, spinach, asparagus, kale, cabbage, Brussels sprouts, collard greens, you know, meat, steak, chicken, veal, lamb, fish, seafood, whatever type of proteins you enjoy, and your low carb vegetables, all that's going to be found on the perimeter of the food. And on this note of processed foods, this includes, and this is big right here, this includes protein bars and protein shakes. Okay, again, food manufacturers are very creative in how they market and label and sometimes mislabel food. So if you're looking to burn belly fat fast, you want to stay away from protein shakes. You want to stay away from protein bars, especially 99.9% of them have very little protein. They're just well marketed, and you're pretty much eating a carbohydrate bar. Now, number 4. This is the one that really hurts a lot of people's feelings when I say it, but it's true. Okay, if you want to lose belly fat fast, you have to drastically reduce your alcohol intake. Now, I'm mentored by some doctors who say if you just have one drink, one serving a day, it's not gonna move the needle in either direction. It's not gonna necessarily help you lose weight, but you're not gonna gain any weight. And I get it. But from all of my years, I don't drink the way I used to. But from all of my years of drinking and hanging out with people that drink, I never really know a person that just has one drink, because alcohol reduces your inhibitions. And of course, you may start off with the goal or the intention of having one drink, but as soon as you have that drink, it reduces your inhibition and makes you more susceptible, more tempted to want to have a second or third drink. So again, if you get in your car and you drive somewhere and you go 90 miles an hour and someone else goes 70 miles an hour, you're both going to get there. The person going 90 miles an hour is going to get there faster. And so that's what this video is about. Okay. It's about speeding up the process of losing belly fat. So if you want to speed up that process, if you're really serious about getting rid of that gut ASAP, then you want to omit or drastically reduce your alcoholic intake. A lot of people say to me, well, even what about beer? Have you ever heard of a beer belly? It's called a beer belly for a reason. Okay. Beer is pretty much liquid bread. Now, there's other things that I could mention in this video. I'm the Keto Master Chef. There's a video on this channel. You want to go check it out on how to start keto for beginners. So if you want more information on the specifics of keto, go check out that video. I'll actually link it down in the description and make it easy for you. But now I'm going to get into my last tip. And again, like I said, you can watch a lot of videos on this topic from doctors, influencers, whoever, and they're not going to give you this tip. But I have found that it is one of the most powerful tools, tips, things that you can do to get rid of belly fat fast and permanently. Now, the reason that most people don't talk about this is because it's hard. Okay. It's hard. But I have found this in my own experience. Like I said, I lost 100 pounds in 5 months. All right. And so sometimes people say to me, well, how do you do it? Okay. Well, there's a lot of things that I did. A lot of the things that I did, I just mentioned. I ate more fat. I intermittent fasted. I avoided processed foods. I stopped drinking alcohol. Okay. However, this right here was the thing that helped me the most, and it's what most people struggle with. Okay. In fact, some people just outright refuse to do it. I get it. All right. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just giving you some tips on what you could do. And so that last thing is changing your social environment. Okay, that's just a fancy way of saying get new friends. Okay, or similar to alcohol, drastically reduce the amount of time that you're spending right now with the people in your life. Now, the reason for this is I'm not trying to, get you to get rid of your friends. But if you're someone who's currently unhealthy, if you're someone who has a big belly, okay, or love handles, and you want to get rid of that, there's a good chance that the people around you, the people closest to you, the people that you spend the most time with are in a similar situation to you. Maybe not as bad, maybe worse, but in a similar situation to you. And even if they're not, like we know those skinny fat people, right? They can eat whatever and they don't gain weight. However, the reason that they call skinny fat is because they have unhealthy eating habits. Okay, so let me make it the point this way. Now, I'm from New York. Many times when people hear me speak, they ask me, where are you from? I say New York, and they're like, oh yeah, I can tell because of your accent. I didn't know I had a New York accent. Okay, I can understand why someone would say that, but I don't hear it, right? If you ever been to the South, okay, if you talk to someone from the South on the phone, you can't tell if they're black, if they're white. You can't tell what they are. You just know that they're from the South, right? Especially if they're from the deep South or deep country, right? We know what a country twang, what a Southern twang sounds like. We know what it sounds like when someone speaks country, okay? And so the reason that I illustrated this way is because that New York accent that everyone says that I have, that Southern accent that's so distinguishable. No one, you didn't like actively learn it. Like you had to learn the ABCs, you had to learn how to spell, you had to learn how to tie your shoes, you had to learn how to walk. Okay, you had to learn how to do a lot of things, but you didn't have to learn your accent. Your accent is just simply a byproduct of your environment. It's just something that was ingrained in you, that you adopted by the law of proximity, which is just you being around certain people. And when you're around a certain environment, when you're around a certain people, subconsciously, without you even realize it, you adopt the way they talk, you adopt their beliefs, you adopt a lot of their habits. That's why they say birds of a feather flock together. When I was a teenager, I remember my mom would always say to me, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are. And that would frustrate me, right? Because I would tell her, Mom, I'm a leader, right? If my friends are up to no good, it's because I'm up to no good. But the truth is that could be the case most of the time. You might be a leader within your sphere of influence. You might be a leader in your family. You might be a leader in your job. You might be a leader in your community. However, the people that you're spending your time with are going to influence you without you even noticing the influence, without you even seeing it becoming a part of who you are. So if you're someone who's serious and committed to getting rid of belly fat, to transforming your body, to transforming your health, I'm going to tell you this right now. You need to take inventory of who you spend your time with. And I'm not saying that you need to get rid of these people. I'm not saying that you need to end your relationships and your friendships. I'm saying that you need to drastically and consciously reduce the amount of time, because here's the thing. All right. Chris Williamson says this. He says, when you're working on a goal, people cheer for you, right? When you're on your way to the top, people cheer for you because you remind them of their goals, you remind them of their dreams. But then once you make it there, right, people try to tear you down because you remind them how they gave up. So if you're watching this video and you have this goal to lose belly fat, guess what? Other people have this goal too, other people around you. But once they see you starting to change what you're doing, they realize, oh man, this dude is about to get a six pack. This chick is about to be a skinny mini, and look at me, I'm gonna be the same. And consciously or subconsciously, they will try to sabotage you. They will try to bring you down to their level. They will try to keep you where you are, because you going after something that's important to you is shining a light on their lack of going after what they desire. Maybe it's losing a six pack, maybe it's something else. Okay. But this right here, I promise you, if you can do this last tip here, auditing, taking inventory, and changing your social environment, by default, it will make the other things easy. Especially if you start hanging around with or spending more time with or becoming part of a community that does all of the other things. Okay. That's one of the reasons that the people in our coaching program are so successful because, they didn't have any of their friends who are eating healthy. They don't have any of the people that they're hanging out with eating healthy, intermittent fasting, eating more fat, eliminating processed foods. And now they come into our community and they feel supported. They don't feel alone, right? People need people. So I want to keep this short. I hope you found this, helpful. And if you just happen to watch this video, this doesn't apply to you, but you were just curious, right? You were just being a voyeur of what people do to lose belly fat. I'm gonna ask you, please share this with someone who needs to improve their health. Okay, because sometimes we don't like to have those uncomfortable situations. We don't want to be that person that's like, I don't really want to say something. But our brand here is Keto Cooking with Love, and part of our mantra is that sometimes love is offensive. If you're not willing to tell somebody the truth and be honest with them and be straightforward, you may not love that person the way you think, because the people that love you will keep it real with you. Okay, real friends stab you in the front. So thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, like, all that YouTube stuff. It really helps our channel grow. And the reason that that's important is because we want to reach more people, impact more lives. So God bless you. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.